So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven? How do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. This is going to be a very unique and very fabulous show because we have a very young man who has achieved a lot in a very short period of time. And I really am looking forward to picking his brain, his beautiful brain, in determining why he's going down the path he is. It's a path that many have thought to go down, but very few actually put it in action. So I'm really excited to bring him on because he will be an inspiration to everyone who is out there, who is struggling, who maybe is stuck in a job and they want out and they want to find that, there are alternatives out there and they want freedom for making their own decisions. So I can't wait to introduce this young man. He is an amazing young man. His name is Travis Hurley. He'll be coming on in just a moment, I promise. The Mind, Body, Business Show. It is a show that is developed for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And the sole purpose and mission of this show is to extract those successful nuggets. What makes other people successful? Extract that from them so that you can simply model what they have done to achieve their level of success. And models is just a fancy word for copy. And that's the beautiful thing. Every person I've ever had on this show has absolutely no problem with you copying what they do. They're all givers. Every entrepreneur I've had on this show, bar none, there is not a single outlier to this. Every single one of them wishes to serve others. That is what drives them. And they love coming on shows like this, podcasts like this, and helping others by revealing what their secrets to success are. So, and I know Travis will be no different. I cannot wait to share his brilliance with you. And another wonderful thing that I found out was successful people, they always had three traits. And I learned this by studying for a course. It's been over 10 years. I began studying just successful people. I wanted to find out what made them potentially more successful than someone like me. And what was it? What were those qualities? What were those things? What was their knowledge? What were the tools? What were their experience? And it came out to three things that kept bubbling up over and over and over. And those are the literal words that are the name of this show. So number one is mind. To a person, each of these individuals knew that their mindset was of the utmost importance, the foundation for either their success or lack thereof. And it's all about a very positive and powerful mindset. More importantly, though, a very flexible mindset, which is even more important. And then body. To a person, each of these individuals took care of themselves, literally, physically, and nutritionally by exercising and eating and drinking right. And then business. Business is so multifaceted. There are so many skill sets that one must master to develop a thriving and successful business and then to grow it. Skill sets like sales, team building, systematizing, leadership, marketing. I could go on and on and on. The thing is, to master just one skill set can take a very long time. It's like becoming an expert in anything. An expert, I think the number is that one must focus on one thing for 10,000 hours, and then they can be deemed an expert. Similar with mastering a skill set. The good news is you don't have to master every skill set that's necessary. And the reason is because you only need to master one skill set. And I actually mentioned it here just a moment ago as one of those on the list. And that is the one skill set of leadership. And once you've mastered that skill set, then you are armed with the ability to bring in other individuals who have already mastered those other skill sets that you have yet to master. And quite frankly, some you never will, because there's just not enough time in one's life to master that many things. And so that's good news, actually. So I just want to point that out for you as well. And another wonderful side artifact or fact about very successful people is that to a person, They are all also very avid readers of books. And with that, I'd like to segue into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
All right, this is a very short segment. I promise Travis is coming on right after this. He is waiting in the wings. He is biting his tongue. He can't wait. He's ready to launch forward. I love it. He is smiling ear to ear. I get to see him. You don't yet, but he has got some white teeth. I am envious. He's a great looking young man. Anyway, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. What I wanted to basically tell you right before we jump into this explanation of what this is a short one, is I would implore of you that when you're watching this show and you are getting resources like this, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. I know Travis will have some as well. We'll be showing certain websites and resources on the screen as we go through tonight's show. What I would like to impart upon you is advice. And that is, rather than go clicking away, opening a tab on your browser and going and looking at these resources while the show is going, rather than do that, I would recommend that you instead write down these resources. I mean, I'm talking old school, literally. Write them down, like reachyourpeaklibrary.com, and don't visit it until after the show's over. Here's why. I've spoken on many stages, taught many training sessions, many seminars, and I've seen this happen over and over again. I know I'm getting to that one sweet spot, that could literally change a person's life. And I watched somebody get up and leave the room because they had to go to the restroom or something. They got diverted. Their attention was taken away from the stage. And the same goes here. This is a virtual stage, but I think you understand where I'm going with this. So enough of that, off of my soapbox. I'm running the show and I will be taking notes myself. So I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do. I'm going into Coach Brian mode, if that's okay. All right, here we go. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a website that I had built literally with you in mind. This may sound a little cheesy, but I literally had this done for no other purpose but to give you, entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs at any stage in your career, a place that you can go to where you know that the books that are in this resource have been vetted by at least one other successful entrepreneur, so that your odds of wasting your time reading a book are greatly diminished. That was the whole purpose behind it. And I myself did not begin reading voraciously until the age of, 47. I am now 57. It's only 10 years. And I started devouring books after I learned the incredible benefits. So you see them scrolling up next to me, and they're in no particular order. Just read the title. Some of them you probably have read already. Others you haven't. Just whatever first one jumps off the page, just click on the button. And by the way, this is not here for making money, not for my company. It goes straight to Amazon. Yes, there's an affiliate tied to it. I might make a few pennies, literally, but that's not what this is here for. It's a resource for you. And I just want to give you that as a gift before we even move in. We have more gifts to impart upon you, at least one phenomenal one. So you do want to stick around to the end. We'll be announcing what that is here in just a moment. And talking about incredible people, successful people, people that are changing the game, that are helping others, that are serving, it's time to bring on our very special guest expert. Are you ready? Here we go. Let's do it.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one, the only, Travis Hurley. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Travis. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing quite well, Brian. How about yourself?
I'm doing phenomenal because I get to speak with great people like yourself, and this is going to be a lot of fun. Before we dive into it, a little bit of housekeeping. I wanted to tell everybody about that red logo above Travis's left shoulder. If you're watching this on video, on the right of your screen, it's called The Big Insider Secrets. They sponsor our show, and what they have enabled us to do is, for those of you that stay on with us live until the end, this is a live video show. For those of you listening on podcasts, sorry, but this is a live video show. And for those of you that stay on to the end, you'll learn how you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort all compliments, again, of the Big Insider Secrets. We are so blessed that we get to do this every single show. So stick with us. You do not want to miss this. And then we got a couple more, and then we're going to dive deep into Mr. Hurley's brain. Yeah, literally, we're going to do it. So get ready. So if you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people like Travis Hurley and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb Marketing program is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master. It's the very service we are using to stream our live show right here, right now on the Mind Body Business Show. And over the course of the past, 10 plus years now, we have tried many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions for live streaming. And StreamYard is the best of the best. It combines supreme ease of use along with unmatched functionality. Write this down, visit it later. You want to go to ryp.im/streamlive. Yes, that is a web address. So RYP stands for Reach Your Peak, which is the name of my company. So ryp.im/streamlive, all lowercase, all together. So go ahead and start streaming high quality, professional looking live shows for free. Actually, you can start for free with StreamYard right now, but not right now. Do it after the show is over. So go ahead and visit that site afterward. All right, bringing back the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Travis Hurley. And now it's time to give him the proper introduction, the one that he deserves. Does that sound good, Travis? A real quick intro?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Travis Hurley is a personal lines insurance agent who supports families and individuals with their auto, home, and life insurance with Liberty Mutual. I love Limu Emu. He graduated in 2020 with dual majors in finance and marketing from the University of New Hampshire's Peter T. Paul College of Business and Economics. Dual major. My goodness, most people barely can finish one. That's very impressive. Shortly after, he began his journey in entrepreneurship by founding Wild Capital LLC and facilitating a joint venture that invested in 6 units of multifamily real estate their first year. And I won't give it away. When you do that, Travis, I'll ask you to give that away in a moment, because that is, in itself is impressive. And so, again, formally, officially, welcome to the show, Mr. Travis Hurley. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Yeah. So one of the things I love to do at open each and every show with amazing people as yourself is, we've all gone through these hardships. Daily, we face what I like to call setbacks. And oh man, Willie Jolly, he's an author. He's in one of those books we saw there. He has a great saying. He says, a setback is a setup for a comeback. And it's a great mindset to have. And I can tell just by talking to you before the show, Travis, that you have a similar mindset. But I'm curious for you, going through the arduous tasks that lay ahead of you the next day. You sleep that night, you wake up, okay, I've got a full-time business and I've got my own personal entrepreneurial business, and it's got to sometimes be overbearing. But for you, when those thoughts come across your mind, what is going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours that's keeping you driven, keeping you moving forward each and every day, day in and day out?
Absolutely. That's a great question. For me, it's really twofold. First and foremost, I want to make sure that my family is prosperous in our lifetimes. We, unfortunately, as we've kind of talked a little bit before the show, we unfortunately lost a member of our family when I was in high school, which led to a lot of distress for us in the following years. So really, my primary motivation is to make sure that, me and my family, we're doing as best as we possibly can and make sure that everyone's happy, healthy, and enjoying life as much as possible. And then second to that, I'm a very, very service-oriented person. I really want to make sure that, as we all know, life is short. I want to make sure that I'm spending as much time as I can, providing as much value for individuals, families, what have you, to make sure that I'm really providing the greatest impact possible on my time here on Earth.
My God, I so love what I get to do because of you, because of people like you, Travis. I'm not kidding. I'm not being weird. I have goosebumps under my jacket. It just so struck me to the core that you're so young. If you don't mind my sharing your age, would that be okay? Or you can share it.
That's quite all right.
You're 24 years old and you already get it. Many folks, including myself at that age, were more self-centered, meaning more focused on things, on accomplishments, on the house, on the cars, on things like that. You have said nothing about that so far. First, it's family. Take care of your family. And second, and included in that is a service-oriented mindset and approach to life, not just business. And I can tell that's what is you at your core. And that will do you such great justice over your life if you continue to keep that going. That is something that entrepreneurs don't ever seem to lose. I've interviewed much older individuals that still have that burning fire, the same exact one: service and taking care of people, providing them the most value because they just want to help. That is the core to, in my opinion, I've interviewed so many wonderful people. That is one of the core values that makes entrepreneurs successful, is their desire, true, authentic desire to help others. And you have that. So kudos to you for coming to that point at such an early stage in your life. So you are going to be one of those phenomenal, shooting for the stars and making it there kind of people. And I can't wait to watch your journey as we go on. You better stay in touch so I can follow along during your journey going forward. Yeah, this is fantastic. You've really inspired me already. We've just started. That's our show. Good night, everybody. I mean, we could be done by now. But no, we've got much more to go through. One things I opened with in the show was the topic of reading books and how, for me personally, I didn't start for a very long time till later in life, but I'm so glad I did. It's been a life changer, no kidding. And I was just curious if you hold the same importance when it comes to the value of reading books that will help you in your business and your personal life. So would you consider yourself to be an avid reader as Travis Hurley? Are you an avid reader?
I definitely am. I've been an absolute huge lover of reading since a very young age, actually. As you can imagine, of course, it started with a lot of fiction, but since I went to college, it's been exclusively nonfiction. And it's been a really incredible way for me to gain a lot of value and self-improvement. I think one kind of major thing I think about when I'm being very intentional about selecting the books that I'll be reading is that reading is an enormous compounding effect over time. And that's why I've tried so hard to read a lot of the books that are high level with regards to your mindset as early as possible. So I can reread them again later, of course, and have my experiences help mold that over time, but also for that compound effect, so that earlier I can get all of this up in my brain, then the longer it will have to develop, and hopefully will make that success meter hit a little bit sooner.
I love that. So you've actually read books more than once?
Absolutely have. Yep.
So I have a question for you. So let's say it's the second time you've read the book. You just finished it. Was it the same book? Did you get the same exact information out of it as you did the first time?
Yeah, excellent question. And usually, no. I would say usually, of course, there's the common themes that are excellent refreshers. However, I feel like usually I try and space out by a couple of years, usually 3 or 4 or 5 if I can, so that I can, have had enough development so that the time I'm reading it again, my perspective has changed so much that, as you mentioned, I'm reading almost entirely new things between the lines every time I go through it. For me, the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey is really the one that I'm really planning, I would say, rereading the most in my lifetime, since I think there's so much value in those pages. And I feel like the value, compounds as well, the more your perspective changes and the more it soaks in after additional reads.
Okay, so you're telling me that the second time you read a book, you got a different experience from it, correct? And thereby the book was actually different from your perspective. So I have a book here, and I just have a question. So the book you read the second time, was it the same book with the same pages and the same words, or were pages ripped out or things mixed around? I'm just curious how it got so different.
Yep. So same book, same pages. aspect of it that would be different though is sometimes I like to notate in the pages, or what I'll do a lot is I'll fold the corners in to kind of give additional emphasis to certain areas, certain pages, what have you, so that it kind of makes the reading experience a little bit different, even if the words are the same.
I love it. And thank you for playing along. You knew I was being a little sarcastic there. And the point of this is I go into coaching mode so often. I love teaching. And there's a phrase often used, and it's called repetition is the key to mastery. There is a perfect example of it right there. Is reading the same book. That's a repetitive task, and you get more out of it, different things out. Yeah, I can call out a book. It's called The Big Boom by my mentor, Mel Cutler. He's on the reachyourpeaklibrary.com site as well. I read that. I can't tell you how many times. He also had an audio CD I listened to. And I did this for a reason, though. I needed to go on stage and teach his students his material. And so that became my quote unquote Bible. I'm Christian. I know I have the Bible, but that was my stage Bible, if you will. And I needed to know the information. And so I'd keep going over it. And I can't tell you every single time. What blew my own mind was I learned something different every single time. And so that's just a nice little way to let people know that, repetition is the key to mastery, doing things over and over and over. When you hear the same thing for the second, third, and fourth time, have an open mind, because you will learn more. Even if it's the same exact material, you will still learn more if your mind is open to it. And so I'm off my soapbox, but thank you for that wonderful explanation of how it was your perception that had changed. And that's exactly it. And it's the same in business, right? In business, we start at a certain point and then we grow to another point. It's because we are continually doing the same thing over and over to the point where we start to master it. And now we're ready to move to the next stage. And it's a repetitious thing, and it's not boring in any stretch. So I don't want people to get the wrong idea there, but it just works in such a beautiful manner when you really dedicate yourself to something and you don't give up. That's another tidbit there. I wanted to bring up one thing about you, Travis. In the bio and in the intro, you are obviously working two different things at the same time. You have one foot in the corporate space where you have a full-time job in the insurance industry, and you have another foot landed solidly in the real estate industry as a liberated entrepreneur. And I was just curious, and this is more for the folks watching and listening than for me, why do you do that? A lot of people struggle to do one thing. You're doing two, and I'm imagining you do the second one, the entrepreneurship, probably every spare waking moment you have. What was your decision? What was your thought process in making that decision to go off and also do entrepreneurship at the same time?
Yeah, great question. So let's say it really started off back in college, where I had read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which I know many have, and got similar insights into that, which is that I realized, okay, it's very important to get additional streams of income as early as possible. Real estate, of course, being the asset class that's more millionaires than any other. That kind of 2 and 2 click. Okay, I got to get into real estate. I'd known a few folks that got into real estate, invested a few smaller properties here and there. But I really realized, okay, I don't have the funds to buy a property myself. How can I get into this space? And what I did was a joint venture with several of my peers and a former finance professor from the University of New Hampshire in order to kind of get us started with our first couple of properties. But in response to your kind of original question, it can be tough. As you can imagine, having my full-time job, which is capacity, it's not really 40 hours a week. It's when the job is done. So therefore, it tends to usually be a lot more than 40. And then with the real estate side as well, I'm very fortunate that my mentor Alex Talcott is an incredible guy, and I'm very fortunate to get to do a lot of work with him on the side to help support his work doing as a syndication fund, really based around community economic development, which has been something that, as we talked about in the beginning, it's definitely a passion for me to help serve others. But even though it's a lot of time and can be a lot of effort, and sometimes, as we all do, I'm like, geez, I really took on all this work. But and the real estate, it really keeps me interested, engaged. I'm someone that if to do just one thing at a time. I really love having, kind of multiple avenues kind of that I'm exploring at the same time, keep things fresh, so that when the insurance side, gets a little long, I can kind of pivot over to the real estate side and kind of pick up where that left off and kind of keep the enthusiasm going, but just in a different area. And also, which is another amazing aspect of being able to be in both industries, is that I get to experience and connect with folks from both sides that I wouldn't really get to connect with otherwise. As we kind of spoke about before, there's definitely a pretty good amount of overlap with the industries in certain regards. But there's a lot of people that I've connected with now that I just wouldn't be if I hadn't started at Wild Capital.
Yeah, and it's interesting there. I have a similar background in the fact that I've done both corporate and entrepreneurship at the same time and all that. And, a lot of people in entrepreneur space look at corporate space and just go, ick. And I understand why, having been through it. But I like to look back at it and go, what did I learn from it? And there are actually a good number of things that I've taken from what I learned in the corporate world and pulled them into my own business that have been beneficial. Things like having some structure. Entrepreneurs like to just go crazy and do things. The ones I've met, they like to do things off the cuff with very little structure. And I see that the quality of their execution in getting the product to their clients suffers as a result. Even when I'm the client, I notice things like, my gosh, you didn't think about that before you started all this and charge that kind of money. And so I get to mesh the two together and take the best from the corporate side. And the worst of the corporate side is the daggone meetings. So many meetings, and so many of them are just useless wastes of time. They're just there to listen to the one person who wanted to have the meeting. But there are good times and bad times. There are places for meetings and things like that. But it's a great lesson to learn. So I don't look at any of that experience with negativity. I look at what did I learn from it, both from a positive and a negative side, so that I know what to do and what not to do, or what to implement in my business. So are you finding any of that to be true with your experience yet?
Absolutely. I think that one of the big things I really wanted to join Liberty Mutual or a similar size corporation out of college, I knew they would have, as you mentioned, a time tested structure already in place. They have systems and processes that would allow me to go into a system that's already working, to further develop myself in my habits, which are, I think, I think habits are really a measure of time, so that I can ensure my long-term success by leveraging the models that they already have created. As they always say, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, which has been a perfect example of my experience with Liberty. That I was able to get excellent experience getting to shadow and work with some amazing and amazingly talented sales professionals, while also kind of developing those systems and processes, not only for selling insurance, but really for being a business professional. I've been very fortunate that I've had the experience of almost years now actually with Liberty, to kind of develop myself in that way.
And a shout out again to Alex Talcott, who was on this show prior. And it's wonderful that he is mentoring you and probably others, but that's just the entrepreneurial spirit. We have a comment coming in from YouTube. Lisa Harvey says, "Hi, Brian. Travis is an inspiring guest." I would have to agree. I love how he put Rich Dad, Poor Dad to work. And Brian, I was surprised to hear you quote Willie Jolly. I've read everything he's written. He's not quoted often. Yeah, he is one of those hidden gems. And I'm so glad I picked up his book. And yeah, a setup is a setback is a setup for a comeback. And he says it so many times throughout the book. Repetition is the key to mastery. So I never forgot it. Amazing, amazing guy. So Willie Jolly, for those of you that have never heard of him, that's on reachyourpeaklibrary.com. If you want to go check that out, the book that I read from him is there. Very amazing, motivational type speaker, great energy, another great author for folks to pick up a book and learn from. Thank you for pointing that out, Lisa, because we want to share that with other folks. Travis, on that note, besides the books you've already mentioned, what would you say is one that stands out that's been a more recent read that you've noticed that gave you some insight or gave you some results that you wouldn't have had if you had not read it?
Absolutely. So one I'm reading right now is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. It's written by Kahneman, who is a Nobel Prize winner in economics, and it really is an incredible book that really blends together psychology, statistics, economics into helping us understand not only how we think, But and for me, especially in a sales capacity, I'm someone that I'm a very analytical thinker. I think with numbers. It's part of why my degree in finance. And I found the book to be really, truly insightful in the way that it helps you understand, okay, talk about, the system one and the system two brain. Your system one being your brain that is very much, it's goes with the flow, and it's very kind of automatic. The greatest give to folks on kind of speak about the book is, your system one was working when you're just driving down the highway. You're not thinking about it. You're on cruise control, both figuratively and literally. And then your system two brain is much more intentional. It's forcing very complex, complicated, hard thought into really discerning the decision that you're going to make. And it's interesting how the book really talks about how a lot of instances where, we're in situations where we don't even realize it, and our system one brain takes over and get there. And then we realize when we actually go and use our system two brain, much more intentional, much more complex thought, and really thinking it through, we realize, oh, we came to a solution that, intuitively sounds correct. But in reality, when you actually kind of, for example, do out the math, you realize, oh, that's completely incorrect. It's just what you actually wants you to jump to, the conclusion that's, right there in front of you, the proverbial, low-hanging fruit. I feel like that's been kind of one lesson from the book taken to heart and really, really enjoy quite a bit, since that's kind of one thing that I think most folks kind of don't think about, especially in sales. It's the people business, and it's not really about you. It's really about other people and understanding how others not only make decisions, but how they come to those decisions, whether it's a conscious or subconscious thing. Since for most folks, as it kind of talks about in the book, it really is a subconscious decision process most of the time. So it really helps us kind of provide a framework to kind of how to adapt yourself and your process to be more effective in that capacity.
I love it. I love it. It's not about you. It's about other people. That is a bomb dropping moment right there. Bombs of wisdom, knowledge bombs, smart bombs. That was amazing. Yes, agree with everything you just said. And my gosh, at 24, very, very bright, very experienced already. And I can tell you've put a lot of system two brain into this over the years. I prefer system one because it's more relaxing, because I've been system two most of my life, and but I still use the system two. But when I'm watching movies, it's system one all the way. I don't want to think. I don't want to analyze. I don't want to who done it. I just want to sit back, relax, and be entertained, because I've been system two all day long, baby. I want to relax. So that was really neat, the breakdown. Can you repeat the name of the book one more time?
Absolutely. The name of the book is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman.
Daniel. Thank you so much. So the reason I'm asking for that clarification is for folks that are watching or listening on the podcast later, is something I often do when a guest such as Travis Hurley comes on and recommends a book or says that this book is impactful, which you just did. It's impactful for you. I always write it down, and then the next step after the show is over is I'll go to Audible. I love listening to books, and order it and put it in my library. That way, it could be the next reachyourpeaklibrary.com book that gets added to the list, depending on my personal, what it does with me personally in my business and my personal life, either one. The way you just described it sounds like it's a very good, compelling book and a valuable read for anybody. And it's great that you're talking about the subconscious brain. It's like, my goodness. Have you ever heard of the concept or the science known as Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP for short?
I have not, no.
Oh, this is fantastic. And this will just be something to investigate later. Reach out to me later. You want to talk about a life-changing science. I learned about it at about the same age of 46, 47, and became fully immersed in it and became certified in it, and then taught it and used it with my clients. And it's the science of success. And it just basically gives you the tools to reprogram your subconscious brain in a way that better serves your own self. It's your brain doing the work. No one else is changing anything about you. They're not rewiring your brain. It's your brain that loves you and wants to protect you. It's your brain that just wants results fast. And this science helps you to get your brain to that position. It's unbelievable. So for you and anyone else that has never heard of this, reach out to me. I don't train in it. I don't have a course in it, but I do know specifically one person I have in mind that I could turn you on to who could help you down that line. It's just amazing. You could just have a chat. So Neuro-Linguistic Programming, write that down. NLP for short. There are a couple books in reachyourpeaklibrary.com. This is the most I've ever mentioned reachyourpeaklibrary.com. It's like I'm advertising it, but it's really not a place to make money, but it's a great resource, and I really believe in it. Let's see. Whew, my goodness. One of the key ingredients of success as I open the show is one of the three letters. It's on the name of the show here. It's the middle one, called body. And some people don't really take this one into account when it comes to their overall success, and they let their body go basically to waste. I don't mean that in a horrible way. They just don't take care of it the way it could be taken care of and should be taken care of. And I was just curious how important that aspect of being physically fit, being nutritionally fit, how important is that to you in your business and your personal life? What kind of impact does it have on you?
Yeah, excellent question. It really has an incredible impact. And I'm someone that's been very, very passionate about physical fitness since a young age, since about 14 years old, where I started lifting about 5 or 6 days a week. I think that general exercise, regardless of the type of exercise you do, is so crucial towards long-term success. I would say primarily, if nothing else, for stress relief. I think that it naturally creating those endorphins gives you the pleasure receptors that really make you happy after a workout, and the runner's high they talk about, but also especially just for the fact that it gives you an opportunity to do something different, get up from your desk, move around in a way that gives you really energy in the moment, but really lasting energy. And they talk a lot in the fitness community about the fact that they call it the I'm not forgetting the name, of course. Basically, a lasting burn that comes from when you do very intense cardiovascular activity, that your body actually continues to burn calories at a faster rate for 1 to 2 days after intense. They call it HIIT training, high interval intensity training, for up to 2 days after. And you think about how that affects not only your brain, but also your energy levels, that even doing periodic cardiovascular activity of any intensity really, I think, has an incredibly positive impact on not only your mindset, your ability to release stress, but also just gives you the energy you need to kind of push through those harder days and otherwise have it. And as they say as well, I think it does wonders for confidence. As they say, look good. It really is an enjoyable thing to do. I think I love lifting weights and working out, running. It really is fantastic. I don't get nearly enough time for it these days. It was great back in high school and college when I had a lot more time to go for as long as I wanted. But really, I think a crucial aspect of my success in the long term is staying physically fit for as long as possible.
And I think those are words to live by at no matter what age. And even if you're, say you're on in years a little bit more like myself or even more, and you have not been working out or exercising on a regular basis, you said the key, Travis, that will help people to ease into it. And that is, you said, at any intensity. A lot of times folks think they need to go in and do, what is that one form of, it became a craze. I can't remember it. It was very high intensity training. Oh my gosh, they're all over the place studios before COVID hit. But it was like, my gosh, it's too intense for most people. But the point is, it does not have to be intense. It just needs to be get up and move. If you're just starting out, it means get on a treadmill and walk, go outside and walk as far as you can, and get a good, get your lungs expanded. I used to be a personal trainer. So, everyone is at a different level. And just work out to your level. There's no need. You're not going to win a trophy. You're not going to become a bodybuilder or a supermodel overnight. Believe me, it takes a long time for that. And the whole point of it is to feel better. And when you feel better, as you do it and you focus on feeling better, you'll find out you start looking better because you're doing the work. And all of it, it's just this great snowball effect of positive. It's the best drug on the planet is having worked out or exercised without any side effects, bad side effects. They have all good side effects. And another guest of mine, Travis, I've learned so much from people like you that come on the show, also express the importance or the added benefit of, if you're about to face an arduous task, something that you're not really, thinking so great, or it's one of those system 2 brain needed type tasks, then work out right before it. And it amps up your energy, and you can now power through it with all the alertness and everything that your body needs to give it. There's a saying that a real good friend of mine once said. It said, the mind and body are a team. More importantly, the mind and body are your team. And so you want to take care of both. So you have things like neuro-linguistic programming for your mind and mindset. And then you have working out and exercise and good nutrition for your body. Then you add the business to it. So really, you need to take care of mind and body before business. And many people just dive into business, and then their mind and body suffer because they have everything in the business basket. And you just kind of pointed it out that once you got through college, your time is not as ample as it was before. You have a full-time job. You have an actual entrepreneurship business going. And wait till you have wife and family. Then you'll see how much time you have, or you used to have. It keeps etching away at it, but the point is making it a priority in your life. Oh, we have a question. I love it. So, okay, this will be a good one. Let's see how Travis handles this question, which will be masterfully. So Lisa Harvey asked, Travis mentioned how family time is important. What is his best recommendation for time management so business and family both thrive? Great question, Lisa.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Thank you, Lisa, for asking it. I would say approach towards time management to ensure that you have appropriate time for both family and business is kind of a business technique, which is to schedule it, which is funny to some folks. But I feel like it's really important to kind of keep it as a rock in your calendar that if it's not on your calendar, it's so easy to, if you're like, hey, okay, let's all, hang out at, 7:00 on Thursday. But if you don't, put in your calendar, for folks, who are religious about the calendar like myself, it's very easy to get to Thursday and be like, oh, there's 100 other things I got to do. I'm behind on this. I got to get ready for that. Can we just put it off till next Thursday? And then that happens again and then again, which is, not what anyone wants. And it's just not good for the mental. I feel like that's why it's so important to kind of, for everyone to, in advance, get it on everyone's, I say calendar, but, can be, creative if needed, to ensure that no matter what, you're kind of both locked in. There's no rescheduling. No, it's on the calendar. It's happening, because as we know, that time with the family, that's the most important time you're going to spend that day or that week. I think we all would agree with that. But we also, I think, would all agree that business can sometimes get in the way, which is why it's, I think, so important to be proactive about ensuring that they have, adequate boundaries between the two to ensure that you're both being successful in your business life and still getting the fulfillment and happiness that we all love and want and need in our personal lives as well.
I personally think you hit the nail on the head. I used to teach this from stage, and I was teaching from a fitness standpoint of, most people will put off working out because it's literally painful, depending on the exercise you're doing. It's not, people can look at it as not too much fun. And I said the same exact thing is schedule it, get it in your calendar. We all have technology at our fingertips. You can put it in your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you're using of your choice, and it will give you reminders. And I always say, to put it there and treat it as if it was an appointment with a client, a very important client, and never waver from it. Make it part of your life. And it doesn't mean you have to schedule at the same time of the day every single day. If you like variety, which I'm a big fan of, I can tell Travis is too, do what works for you, but stick to it. Do the best you can to say, I have an appointment with my gym or with my treadmill or whatever your apparatus happens to be, and stick with it and give yourself time to shower, clean up, whatever you need to do afterward, but just schedule it. And the same with business and family management. You can put family time in there. It's movie night. It's, date night with the wife, whatever it happens to be. One of the best things you can do is schedule it. And that's a beautiful thing, like things like Google Calendar. My wife and I, we share our calendars with each other so I can see what her day is like and vice versa. And so that's another fantastic way to do it. So you hit the nail on the head. You said it much more succinctly. Schedule it. And that's all you really need to do. Great advice. I totally agree with that. Thank you for that question, Lisa. That was fantastic. So many things I want to talk about and ask you. So when it comes to, I'll ask you about one on each. So when it comes to your insurance industry, your insurance job, what do you find the most intriguing and enjoyable parts of that job? What is that one aspect that you think, I like this a lot about being a lines insurance agent?
Absolutely. I would say the biggest thing I really enjoy the most about getting to be a personal lines insurance agent is that, you know, as I mentioned, because my family, we lost my father when I was 15, that created some financial distress. He was someone that unfortunately he had a very serious accident when he was 19 years old. I mean, because of that, he was actually uninsurable. So unfortunately, he passed away without life insurance. So one
Mm.
part about my job that's incredibly fulfilling is helping to make sure that other families won't have to go through the financial distress that me and my family had to go through, but also to help further mitigate risk with them across the board, whether that's their house, whether that's their vehicles. No matter what, I get a ton of fulfillment and pleasure out of making sure that people feel comfortable and confident in their insurance situation to make sure that even on your worst day, it's going to be a little bit better because we had a plan in place to make sure you were protected as much as possible. And a great example of that is that I had a client, we've been a great client of mine for about a year and a half now. Her and her family bought a new house just a year ago, actually, and unfortunately had a house fire just a couple of weeks ago. It was about a $300,000 claim, and I was
Wow.
so glad, which sounds weird to say that, when I found out about it because she had amazing coverage in place. And while they were not able to live in the home for a period of time because of the extent of the damage, we had adequate coverage that her and her family could live in a hotel of the same kind of like quality and standard that they're used to. I'm told they were able to move back into the home, and it helped. While it's not going to be the same, but it still helps them kind of have a better transition to get back to normal. So it really that's really, I would say, the best part of my job is make sure that folks, even on those worst days, it's a little bit better because they know that I'm in their corner, helping make sure that they're as protected as possible.
It's been rare in my experience in my life to see someone as passionate as you are in the insurance industry, and I appreciate that about you. That you're not just doing it for the paycheck, even though that is important. You have a literal reason for doing it, and you had a life experience that kind of nudged you in that direction. And I think that's commendable as all get out. That is amazing. Then I wanted to ask you the same thing about Wild Capital LLC, or real estate uh, business that you have going. What is it about that? What, if you can think of one thing that really motivates you, that makes you happy, that really fulfills you in that venture, what would that be?
That's a great question. Let me think about that for just a second. So I would say in the real estate side of things, I would say what gets me really, really excited and gives me a lot of fulfillment is that, as I mentioned earlier, with regards to reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and understanding the importance of getting additional income streams, while that is important, for financial security and eventual financial freedom, while it's important for me and my family, I am really passionate about the idea of helping to create a system where I can help do that for others. It started with my initial team, just me and four of my peers from school, some of my great friends, and hopefully as the course progresses, can continue to do that for ourselves, and then use that as a vehicle to help teach others the same thing. I think that biggest thing about real estate investing is that a lot of folks think it's so much harder and more difficult and more complex to get into than it really is. And I always tell folks, really the most important thing is to just get the first property under your belt. As soon as you could do the first one, it gets so much easier from there. And I tell everyone, as well as my team and myself did as well, find yourself a mentor. Mentorship is incredibly important, but especially in the real estate space, since it's, seemingly the barrier seems so high. And I feel like it's going to be something that is going to be getting me a lot of fulfillment in the coming years of helping folks get to this kind of same place that my team and I are striving to get to, which is a place of financial freedom with that additional streams of income. And then eventually, hopefully, also working on some efforts of some community economic development that I work on my real estate mentor. He's been incredibly involved in the community throughout the state of New Hampshire, New England, and really the country as well, helping affordable housing efforts, which is something that definitely is near and dear to my heart as well. And I am incredibly fortunate to even have the opportunity to work with him, let alone support him in these amazing philanthropic efforts. So for me, it's really multifaceted on the real estate side. I can't get enough of really both, but I would say that's what it is for me.
Find yourself a mentor. You know what that is? That is another bomb dropping moment. My goodness. Knowledge bombs, smart bombs, bombs of wisdom. Oh, and then, you said find yourself a mentor. That is key. That is one of the most important points made tonight, is the importance of finding someone else who can help you, that knows more than you do about that has mastered a skill set. that you seek to also do the same. And oftentimes that will come at a price, a financial price, and that's okay. When people have skin in the game, when you have investment on the line, you're more apt to go deeper in and do the system 2 brain approach and really dive deep and get everything you can out of it. And as a result, you get better results. And so very important, a mentor, a coach, a trainer, whatever the case may be for wherever you are at and what you're looking to improve upon. Oh my gosh, my mentor was amazing. I learned so much. I learned how to speak from stage effectively. I wouldn't be doing this show without that training. Another gentleman showed me time management, which you alluded to earlier from that question. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize I could get so daggone much done in such a short period of time and not feel exhausted. It was amazing. Sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And bringing in an expert to help you can just take your life to another level. So mentorship, find yourself a mentor. Great, great tip. And the other thing, I've never heard anybody do this, Travis. You made my day, you made my night, because you're in the real estate industry. And there is one reason I never went into that. And this was my own reason. And you just rewired my brain on it in a great way. But my reason for never wanting to go into real estate is the way I saw it from my mind's eye was that I was not actually helping anyone. I was only helping myself and my wallet. And that's because that's what all I ever heard about from real estate professionals over and over and over. And I was like, that doesn't interest me. I have nothing against them. This is just my own value system, my own opinion. But what you said completely changed everything. You said so that you can then teach someone else how to do what you're doing. That was genius. That was beautiful. That was profound. And it was honest. It was authentic. And I thought, wow, maybe I will get into real estate now, because then if I can show somebody else how to do it, and it will change their financial outlook for the better. And that can help them with other things. Now it frees you and liberates you to invest or maybe move on and do another business that you're interested in. But whatever the reason is, if you're teaching somebody a valuable skill, what a great answer, Travis. That was phenomenal. Kudos. That is just, that really shocked me in a great way. I was like, man, what's he going to say about real estate? Okay, the show's over. We're done. That was it. We don't need any more. I'm kidding. We have a few more minutes. Oh my gosh, we're getting down to the end. I can't believe it. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. It means I've been having fun anyway. I hope you have too. And all you watching and listening, I hope the same is true for you. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's probably a good time to bring it up. So I didn't forget, for those of you that stay on live to the end, you're going to find out how you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. You see that above Travis's left shoulder there on video. And we'll be bringing that up in a moment. But one of the things I always like to do, Travis, and we're not quite there yet, but I like to close every show out with this one question. And I hope Alex didn't reveal what that question was, and you're not ready for it yet because it's fun. And that one question I like to close out. It just turned out by kind of accident. I would ask it over the course of the interview process on occasion, and I noticed that the answers were like interesting, more interesting than most of the other questions I would ask. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to start closing every show with this. And the reason is because it's such a profound question. It elicits amazing answers. It can be a little personal, but it's powerful and profound. And I know you're like going, holy moly, what is that all about? Before we get to that, I want to let people know how to connect with you. And you have a website through Liberty Mutual. And if that's okay, I want to bring that up right now and show the folks and then read it off to those. Now, he has a longer URL. I shortened it using my own shortener just because it would take me all night to read out the URL that he had originally, because it's provided by the company he works for. And it's not, we'll leave it at that. So to connect with Travis, you want to go to the following website. It's ryp.im/Travis Hurley, ryp.im/Travis Hurley, and that's TRAVISHURLEY, all lowercase. Be very important. It's all lowercase, and that will take you straight to his website, which is at Liberty Mutual. And I was telling Travis before we started, I don't know why I'm kind of a geek. I just love those Limu Emu commercials. It's just so fun. I'm going to bring up his website so you can get a gander of it real quick. And we'll show you, there it is. And Travis, if you don't mind, give a quick overview of your services, who you provide them for, who's your target market. And I'll just let you take it away as I bring up your website.
Absolutely. So luckily with Liberty Mutual, it's really an incredible opportunity when I work with them that I can offer coverage, not just through Liberty Mutual, but also over a dozen partner carriers as well. So major even companies like we've all heard of, like Progressive and Nationwide. Most folks don't know that we can do that, but we absolutely can. And it's really amazing because it really allows me to find the absolute best fit for you and your unique needs, regardless if it's with Liberty Mutual. That really allows me to make sure that, regardless of your situation, even if you're not a good fit with Liberty, we're going to make sure we find you the best fit possible. And what's great, I always tell my clients as well, one of the things that sets me apart is that if I can't find you a great option for your insurance, I will refer you to one of my external insurance partners who will make sure you find a great fit. So that no matter what, if you're coming to me, you will leave with a great fit with your options, either best coverage and best price possible. I also offer life insurance as well through Protective Life. As I've mentioned previously, that's an area that's very near and dear to my heart that I really enjoy getting to help support families with. But with Liberty, that's kind of the show of what I do with them. It's something that I really enjoy doing every day, and I can't speak enough about my how much I've enjoyed my time with Liberty and enjoyed getting to help folks with their auto, home, life insurance, and also other things like boats and umbrellas and ATVs and all the fun toys that we all enjoy as well. So anything in that area I'm able to help out with.
My goodness, that's phenomenal. It's almost like a brokerage. I had no idea it was like that, where you could pull in other companies to fulfill on the insurance side of things. And the other part that I love that does set you apart is if you can't find the solution for them with what you have in your pocket, you'll take them to someone else's and put their hand in their pocket. That's phenomenal. That is a true, in my humble opinion, that is one of the greatest mindsets, approaches to becoming a successful person in business, period, and in life. Is look, my goodness, I could go on all night about this one, but I won't, I promise. But I've been to so many networking events, seminars, boot camps, and the like, where you can see them, spot them a mile away, an entrepreneur running around with their deck of cards. It's their business cards, and they're just handing them to as many people as they can without really establishing any kind of relationship. And it's all about them. Instead, think about having that conversation where you talk to them and find out what it is they want, what do they need, and then if you can't fulfill any of their needs or their pain points, then do what Travis does and recommend others that who could. What happens is, because look, what Travis has isn't for everybody. Not everybody needs life insurance or car insurance or all the insurance types that he provides, and that's okay. But maybe you come to Travis and you ask him about something that possibly is different and off that, and he'll say, well, I know somebody that can help you. And he won't make a dime from it. But guess what? If you ever do need insurance, where are they going to go? They're going to come right back to Travis. And that is a great lesson. So help people without expecting something in return, because you'll see that that investment, those little seeds that you're dropping in the soil, some of them will grow and bear great fruit and come back, and they'll come back to you. But my advice is, don't do it with the intent of getting something in return. Do it with nothing but a giving attitude, because it comes back to you. I just know this from life experience, being on the planet long enough. And I think, Travis, you're on to one of the secrets to success, the recipes, and that is to serve people, help people with no ulterior motive. I can't help you. I would love to take your money, but I'm not going to, because so-and-so over here across the street can help you better, and you'll be better served, and you'll be a happier person as a result. Very few people do that percentage-wise. So kudos. Man, you're an amazing young man. And I lost my pen. It just rolled away from me. I need my pen. I'll get it later. Man, that just disappeared off the planet. That was crazy. I didn't hear it drop or anything. Oh, there it is. So I did promise everyone that before we left, and if you stayed live to the end, that you would find out how to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And we're going to do that right now. And then we're going to come back and ask Travis that one big, profound question that I was talking about just a moment. So those of you that are watching, remember I always said, don't don't take your attention away. Well, now you have our permission. You'll need to just write this down. Just write this down, and then you can go ahead and enter. You have time. The show will be over, and within, I don't know, get to it within an hour or two, and we'll still enter you into the drawing. So here we go. I'm going to put it up on the screen and read it out loud. What you want to do is go to the following website. This is all you need to do to enter. It's ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. Again, brought to you by the fine folks at the Big Insider Secrets. My great dear friend, Jason Nest, is the CEO, an amazing, amazing human being, just like Travis, very much wired the same. ryp.im/vacation. Again, all lowercase. Just go there, enter your information. You will automatically be entered. Winners will be selected randomly. And that is all you need to do is go there. So write that down, ryp.im/vacation, and be sure to enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And it's an amazing thing. It's not where they're going to take you down to a basement and water torture you into a timeshare. That's not how it works. I know this because the CEO himself tested the very price he gives away by going several times, 3 times. And each and every time he said it was amazing. It was a full-blown bona fide vacation stay. So with that, we're going to come back to the man of the hour. That's Travis Hurley. And we're going to ask this one profound, earth-shattering, life-altering question. Okay, I'm being a little bit dramatic. So Travis, the thing about this question is there is no such thing as a wrong answer. It does not exist. In fact, it's the exact opposite. The only correct answer is your answer. That's the only thing that makes it personal. So we're not getting into your personal life or anything like that. It's unique to you. That's what makes it personal. If the answer comes to you like that, great. If it takes some thought, great. It's your answer. It's unique to you. So with that, you can relax a little bit. If you were getting a little bit tense, you didn't look like it though. You're pretty poker faced. You're good at that. But with that, are you ready?
I am.
All right, here we go. Travis Hurley, how do you define success?
Nice. I love this question. Back when I was in college, I was in an organization where I was able to conduct a lot of interviews, and this was my favorite question to ask. So Alex didn't tell me the question if you asked, but luckily I've been able to practice over time. So really how I define success is really the freedom to use your time how you see fit. Of being able to Monday morning, wake up, okay, what do I want to do today? And for me personally, that would be how can I have the greatest impact today? And as I kind of alluded to earlier, I'm a very service oriented person. I feel like one of the most important things that I can do in my life is have an impact on others, specifically, not only because it will, of course, will impact their lives, but also because it'll have a massive cascading effect. Because if I can impart on them anything that will help them and the motivation to pay it forward, and they will continue to do that over their lifetimes for numerous other folks as well. And then if I can help create that momentum in that world to continue paying it forward towards others, then eventually we'll have an amazing system of folks, just like the both of us, going out now that their time is their own and they're able to go forth, give as much impact as they possibly can, so that it creates a cascading system of change and positive impact in the community.
You know what's coming, don't you?
Is it a knowledge bomb?
There we go. You knew it was coming. That's fantastic. That's amazing. As are you, Travis Hurley. You are an amazing young man. You are already making a great impact on the world by just being here. And one of the things that you do, I can tell, is you just show up. A little birdie told me this was your first ever podcast. And to me, you could have done 200 before this one. You were made for this. You are made to help people. You are made to spread the word. You are made to be given great exposure so that folks can basically take your knowledge, your wisdom at such a great young age and put it into play for themselves. You are so far, I got to tell you, you are so far advanced in your age than so many that are double or triple your age. And you're on a great path. And seriously, please stay in touch. I want to watch. I want to help. I want to nudge, maybe push any way I can, because you're one of those people that is going to make profound differences on this planet before your time is up. I'm absolutely convinced. So appreciate you for putting in the system 1 and system 2 brains on this as you go forward in your life. Is there any final parting word of advice you would have for, say, a budding entrepreneur who's just looking to get started? Look, Travis, I don't know where to start. I'm working a full-time job myself. What is your biggest takeaway or tip to tell them, to give them hope, to say, you know what, I did it, you can do it too? Is there something you like to say to those people that are watching or listening?
Absolutely. I would say my kind of best piece of advice that I could give is that, I see long-term success as a measure of focus and good habits over time. I think that one of the biggest principles that they speak about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey that I spoke about earlier is that it's so important to start with the end in mind. And one thing that many folks may not know about me, I'm actually an Eagle Scout. I'm from 177 out of Hampshire, New Hampshire. And one of the slogan, motto of the Boy Scouts of America is to be prepared. And that's something that they talk about in the 7 Habits as well, that if you're the most prepared person possible, and you start with the end in mind, and you go at it in a proactive approach, there's literally no way that you can't be successful as long as you maintain perseverance and grit and a positive attitude.
Where did you come from, Travis Hurley? You are an amazing young man. Looking forward to following your journey as you go forward. My goodness, we have to call it a night. Unfortunately, we've gone a little over, but I'm okay with that. It's my show. I can do what I want. Plus, I'm not paying for studio time. It's awesome. Appreciate you, Travis, for coming on, for divulging your wisdom and your experience, and for truly what you have said tonight on this show and on this podcast will help individuals that have listened to it and watched it. So I appreciate you very much from the heart. And I look forward to seeing how things transpire for you going forward. So please stay in touch and reach out if you need anything. Promise?
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Brian. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right. And mine as well. My goodness. So on behalf of the amazing Travis Hurley, I am Brian Kelly, your host of the Mind Body Business Show. We will be back again next week with another fantastic guest. Until then, just keep digging, keep pushing, never, ever, ever give up. And above all, be blessed, everyone. Take care and bye-bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.